done that in 18 years. So I'm super excited about that, about going to the rainforest, which is the only rainforest in North America. So yeah, and I'm excited about the speakers. We have a great lineup this year,
Oh, it's
including
going
yourself.
Yes, me too. Me too. Yes. I'm very excited. I'm trying to get it set up so I can send this to my LinkedIn as well. So I'm just give me 2 more seconds and I will be ready to rock and roll with you here
Okay.
on Stream.
When I become a superstar with this, I'll figure out how to connect it someday to my LinkedIn, but I don't know. I don't even think I know how to access my LinkedIn.
Oh, what? You
Baby
guys just
steps,
went
baby
live on
steps,
here? Tell me this is not true. This is so fun.
baby steps with this LinkedIn. With I mean, there's so many different social media platforms now, and trying to figure them all out is like I'm actually checking now to see even what email address is connected with my LinkedIn because I don't even know. I have no clue.
Well, tell us a little bit about what's going on, Ebony, because we have
Yes,
incredible.
absolutely.
And while I try to figure out my tech stuff, I would love
Yes.
to.
So let me tell you about this year's Wealth and Wellness Experience. Like I mentioned, it's in San Juan, Puerto Rico. It's at the Fairmont. If you've ever been to a Fairmont, they are just fabulous hotels. So I'm super excited about the hotel. But it's at the Fairmont in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And we just, our focus is on what's wealth without health. So we need to make sure that we are not just focusing on building wealth and that we're not just about that hustle life, but we're about that taking care of myself life. And so, we can do both. They're not mutually exclusive. So, and it's super important when you take care of yourself, you feel much better. You have so much more energy to do the things that you need to do in order to work. So I'm super excited about this year. We have yourself speaking about um, wealth preservation and estate planning. We have Larry Jones, who's going to be talking about stock investing. I'll be there talking about real estate investing and talking about money mindset. We have Chrisette Michelle. We have um, who else? We have such an awesome lineup this year. We have Nicole Johnson coming back to do more yoga on the beach. We have Anaya who's going to do some workouts on the beach. So you've been looking to get that personal training. This is an opportunity where you can have a set weekend to reset your life and build yourself up physically, emotionally, mentally, and financially. So we just really have an awesome lineup. Oh, we have Shanta. We have Rich and Regular. They're new to us this year, and I'm super excited because Rich and Regular has a book that they wrote, and they talk about your fire number. What is the amount that you need to make in order to retire? And so they are going to be talking about early retirement and the path to early retirement. I know for me, I have 2 years before my early retirement, and I'm super excited about it. So I'm always excited to hear people talking about that topic as well. So this year is going to be awesome. We really do have a great lineup. We have, the awesome networking, of course, that we had last year with all
Yeah.
of the people from across the country who are going to be joining us, who want to build wealth, but they also want to live and enjoy it. So we want to make sure that we're giving them the skills to do that. And I know you're all about wealth preservation and making sure that we don't just build the wealth, but that we hold on to it and that we pass it down to future generations and we teach our future generations how to preserve it as well so it doesn't end with us. So thank you so much for joining us today. I know it was super short notice, and I know you also unfortunately had a death in your family. I'm sorry again for that, but really appreciate you taking the time to do this. And I know that it's super important to you, especially during these times when you're dealing with the death of a family member, to focus on the importance of making sure that we are estate planning and that we're preserving and passing down our wealth. So thank you so much, Portia, for joining us this morning.
Always happy to be here with you, Ebony. You are just, girl, you are a powerhouse. And this wealth and wellness experience was really your brainchild. And last year, we got to see your vision come to fruition, to be able to put all of these pieces together, to have a holistic approach to the whole person. Is exactly what we try to do, not only in our firm, but in Black Trust Fund Kids, our educational community, is really take care of the whole person so that we can protect and preserve the wealth that we're building. None of us go to work or school or work in our homes for no reason, right? And it's not just for the task of the day. It's because we're trying to create something, whether that be comfort, whether that be opportunity, whether that be access, whether that be a change in circumstances for our lines. We are working towards a brighter future. And unfortunately, for about 70% of African Americans, we haven't protected the gains that we've made. 70% of African Americans have zero estate planning at all to preserve and protect what we've built, to keep it out of the court's hands when we pass away or get ill. And I win because none of us are getting out of this life alive. None of us are going to be able to avoid that sort of final resting place that happens for each and every one of us, right? And for those of you who think you do, please call me, DM me. I would like the address to the Fountain of Youth, but in all seriousness, the numbers are staggering, and it's alarming. And we are trying to sound the alarm here at Wood Legal Group and also at Black Trust Fund Kids, because the studies show that only 14% of college-educated African Americans are getting $10,000 or more to the next generation. That's abysmal. That means 86% of college-educated African Americans are not even getting $10,000 to the next generation on an inheritance. It's either being squandered through the court process, it's being eaten up in incapacity planning, or the lack of financial literacy of the beneficiaries is impacting the ability for any wealth gains to continue, right? When we compare that to our white colleagues, almost 80% of them are getting at least $10,000, with the average amount passed in the African American community being about $40,000 compared to $168,000 plus on the average amount passed. What that means is that we're passing negative wealth, not even enough to pay off a 4-year tuition at a state school. We're passing negative wealth compared to our colleagues or our contemporaries in other communities who are, in the white community specifically, who are passing enough to pay off the 4-year tuition at a state school and a down payment on an almost $600,000 house. They're passing wealth that can then be leveraged. And we are not. And it's not because we don't have things. It's not because we don't have the wealth to pass. We're not protecting it. We're not leveraging it. We're not teaching about it. And that's why I love so much what you've done, Ebony, with the wealth and wellness experience, in bringing in not only the health, but also the financial literacy, to make sure that when people leave your experience, when they leave this retreat, they have the tools to truly protect their families. And it's really something special.
Yeah, and a lot of that happened because of you. You were there last year, and when I hear the top comments, it's I love sitting by the pool with Portia and just talking about how to plan for my family's future. People learned so much from you just hearing about that, because in our community, the one thing, unfortunately, because we haven't always amassed the wealth, in our mindsets, we think that you need to be rich in order to have an estate plan. And so a lot of people don't set up estate plans, and they don't even think about it, unfortunately. And so a lot of what you're talking about is brand new to people. I know I learned about it in law school, so that's how I learned. And I was able to tell my parents, like, hey, we have to do this. But so many people don't learn about estate planning, and they don't want to talk about it. And, death is sort of a dirty word. And so, we shouldn't be afraid of it, though. I think it's something that's super important to talk about, because the reality is, like you said, tomorrow is not promised to any of us. And even if you live a super long life, you want to know that everything that you worked for is going to be taken care of. by your family, and you want to leave a legacy. You want people to remember you, not just your children, but their children and their children after that. So
I mean, the thing that I always think about, right, is that we want our family, we want our lines to be able to reap the benefits of the seeds that we're sowing today, right? We are going to work, we are planting these seeds, we are tilling this soil, and that is hard work, right? And what we need to do is create the structure so that the generations that come after us don't have to keep retilling the soil and planting the seeds and hoping that they'll sprout and grow and maybe bear fruit in our lifetime, but that they get to nurture and help mature the plants that we've planted, so that their kids are just pruning, right? And they're maintaining, but the roots are deep and they're strong, and they soak their own water. That's the fruitful garden.
yeah.
Too many times in our community, we are not getting past the tilling stage because we haven't preserved the garden so that the next generation can can grow it into abundance. We lose it. And so the next generation has to start over again, and somebody else is bearing those fruits of our labor. And we have to stop that. And the way that we do that is through estate planning. The way that we do that is through financial literacy. The way that we do that is through comprehensive estate planning. It's not, I have a will. A will is insufficient. That still goes to court. It's not, oh, I have a probate avoidance trust, this simple living revocable trust, so it avoids court. But how do you preserve that garden so that for generations beyond you, it bears fruit for your family, right? And we're going to talk through all of those things at the Wealth and Wellness Experience. I'm very excited for that.
Absolutely. So, and one of the things that really struck a chord with me that you just said is, I was just having a conversation with a friend who was saying, we don't want our kids to have the same struggles that we had. So a lot of times that means to people that we're buying our kids things and we're showing them materially, hey, we don't want you to have the struggle, but we're not necessarily setting them up so they actually really don't have the struggles. They don't have to learn the same learning lessons that we had to learn, and they have a financial starting place. So, I think I've heard, people say, well, my kids will never inherit. And I'm like, well, why not? Why won't they inherit? Right. So what are you doing to set up so that they do inherit something? And maybe it's just your home, making sure that your home, like you said, is not in a will. So as a real estate attorney, I'm like, people come to me and they're like, oh yeah, there's a will and blah, blah, blah. And they think that, oh, this is just going to be an easy process. And I'm like, well, great. Now we have to go to court and we have to do this. And they're like, well, I have to do that. But I had this brother that's a crackhead and I have no idea where he is. Well, we still have to go through this process now. Because it's in a will. So understanding what instruments are there and are available to us.
And he's still entitled.
Yes.
No matter who you can't find him, it just makes it more difficult because he's still entitled under the law if you haven't set it up appropriately.
Exactly. So
and I just want to pause you for 1 second because you said even if it's just your home. And I think people have this idea that like their home is not that valuable, right? Especially if their home is not necessarily in the neighborhood that they wanted or where they want their kids to be, or the kids don't value the neighborhood perhaps that reared them. The thing, and you know this very well, the thing that about a home is that it can be leveraged. And one home is a tangible asset that somebody will always pay you for. Somebody who's not where you, let's say, where you are, right? Who needs an affordable and safe place to live, will pay to live in your home. And if they pay to live in your home, that means someone's paying you rent, which means you can leverage that. That's an asset. It's not a liability. It's not something you have to reach in your pocket for. Well, you could take a mortgage out on that property, right? Because these properties that we tend to inherit tend to have low or no mortgage on them. And when we take a mortgage out, that's tax-free money because it's a loan. We don't have to pay capital gains tax like you would on a sale, and someone else is paying it back. That means you get a pot of money to go buy other real estate with, to buy other businesses, to pay for education so people don't get out of college in debt. That one house has the power to be the catalyst for wealth in a family for generations if properly protected and leveraged. That one house that somebody owns should be guarded with everything they've got. The African American community, we own 43% of our families own their own homes. And it's getting more and more difficult to get into home ownership. We've got big Wall Street banks talking about they're going to spend billions of dollars buying in the single family home market, which means in a generation, our kids who are coming up now will be renters.
Yep.
Because there won't be inventory. So we need to be protecting whatever we have if we don't want to fall prey to the bottom of the barrel for capitalism in this country.
Absolutely. And, I just did a video on Instagram actually about leveraging and people understanding that concept. I had a client contact me and she's like, hey, I want to buy my son a place to live because he's at an HBCU and they have these housing issues every year. And I want to make sure he doesn't have a housing issue. So I just want to buy a place and instead of him having to rent every year. And I said, great. And she's like, but I don't have the down payment. And so as she was like, well, what do I do? And as we're talking about it, she has a house that she's almost done paying the mortgage on. And I was like, well, what's the value of it? She's like, well, it's worth like 3 times what I paid for it. And I was like, well, there's your down payment right there. There's your down payment for your next investment property. So people look at their house as a place to live in, but your house is an investment and usually it's the most valuable asset that families have. And so make sure that you understand that. Now, I'm not saying leverage it all the way to the hilt, but certainly if you can leverage it and invest, and that investment can bring you additional income, then now you're talking about an actual wealth building strategy as opposed to your money basically being in the ground. Because if you're just sitting on it, that's your money that is sitting in the ground and it's not growing any interest. You're not getting any gains on that. You're not getting any residual income. So there's options for you. So thank you so much for coming and sharing. We actually have Lee Kim on here who also joined us last year at the Wealth and Wellness Experience and came with a buddy. Tell us about your experience at the Wealth and Wellness Experience last year.
Yeah, so my experience was amazing. I met you at InvestFest last year, and just off of your energy and the opportunity I felt you were giving people to get a chance to travel to Tulum, Mexico, and just have an experience where you network, you meet people. It was amazing. So last year I brought one of my employees, and it was his first time ever leaving the country, so that was a big win for him. And we had an amazing experience. We were one of the younger people there, but it was great because we learned a lot. We enjoyed the yoga sessions. We made it every morning. They were early, but we made it. And we took a lot of notes. There were things that, my career is sales, and I'm very sufficient, knowledgeable in sales. But when it came to real estate and estate planning, that was stuff that I was uneducated about. I'm raised in Queens, New York. So, where I come from, that stuff isn't taught. It's not brought to our attention. So as I became an entrepreneur, I started realizing like, wow, this is stuff that I really need to learn about before I start having kids. I don't have any kids yet. And the more I put myself in environments, talking to you and hearing what all the speakers have to offer, I'm like, these are people that I need to be around because you guys have made the mistakes. You guys have, obtained the success. And I felt like it was a well-needed experience. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Yes. Oh, so not only did you join the yoga, but you joined the cold water plunge challenge that we did, or the ice challenge. And that was tough because what we did, we actually started and we did yoga first to sort of get our minds and our bodies ready. And the whole point of it was to help us to learn to train our bodies to deal with stress better so the stress doesn't kill us, right? Because we know that stress kills us. It causes obesity, it causes high blood pressure, it causes strokes. So part of it is life is stressful. And you can't necessarily control what's outside, but you can control how your body handles and deals with that stress. So we did the ice plunge challenge so that we could start to train our bodies and teach our minds how to deal with stress. So tell us about your experience doing that and what you think, because that was something.
Yeah, no, it was my first time ever doing something like that. And I don't know, like It definitely is a mental battle with that whole experience, because your body is just telling you to run. That's what your body is saying: get out of the water, run. But your mind, I had a great support. Everyone around was like, you got this, you got this, relax yourself. And my shoulders were like this. It was just so tense, and it was like, relax, relax. So my employee Dante, he did amazing. He just got in there and just sat down like it was nothing. And for me, my whole body was shaking. But I see the value in it. I see the importance in like why it's necessary, and how it's, a lot of stress is mental. So just being able to relax your mind and overcoming that mental battle, it was amazing. And I didn't think I was going to make it, but just with the support that everyone was just coaching me through, I felt like I can't remember the time frame. Was the time frame like 3 minutes or 5 minutes?
Yeah, 3
Whatever.
minutes, but you could stay for 5 if you could do it.
Yeah, and I didn't even think I was going to make the 3 minutes, and just because everyone just kept coaching me and supporting me, I was able to sit down for the entire 3 minutes. So I felt very accomplished with that exercise.
Yeah. So, and we do fun things like that in the Wealth and Wellness Experience, fun and challenging. But all of it is to, again, train our minds, train our bodies to deal with the stress that life is inevitably going to bring. But also because, again, we don't want to just build wealth and talk about hustle, hustle, hustle. We want to talk about lifestyle. We want to talk about not just surviving, but thriving. And how do we do that? We do that by teaching ourselves first, having a mindset of abundance. And once we have that mindset of abundance and we're open and we're allowing ourselves to build wealth, then we want to teach our bodies how to handle the stress that may come along or will come along with that. And part of that is really making sure that you're eating right, making sure that you're exercising, making sure that you're getting the appropriate amount of rest, and that you're vacationing and doing the types of things that we're doing. So that's part of the reason why we go away. People are like, why are you going away to Puerto Rico? Why'd you go to Mexico last year? Because you can't do the same things here. You can't actually remove yourself and be completely removed. So I want to tell you a little bit about the schedule this year, just so you can hear what our agenda is. So we're getting there October 5th. That's a Thursday. It's actually Indigenous People Weekend. So most people are off on Monday. We arrive on Thursday. We check into the hotel, and this is a flip from last year. So last year on the last day, we did our Viva and Verde party. This year is the first day. So we're going to get there and we are partying in green. So bring your most beautiful green that you want to wear. And we're talking about being on the earth, and we're talking about living. We're talking about growing. We're talking about planting the seeds like Portia was talking about. So green is our color to represent all of that. We're going to party in green the first night. And the second day, we are going to have morning yoga, but now this year we also will have workouts on the beach with Anaya. So last year Anaya worked us out in the room in between on the breaks, but this year she's got us on the beach in the morning. So you'll be able to do yoga or you'll be able to work out. And then we're starting with Kimmy Brown, who's new with us this year, and she's going to be talking about income versus wealth. Kimmy is a CPA. She sold her CPA firm, and she is now speaking. She just finished producing a movie and living and doing the things that she truly wants to do and enjoys doing in life. I love people with these type of stories, but we have to understand the difference between income and wealth. And how do you turn what you're working for constantly into something that works for you? So Kimmy will open us up with that. And then I'll be talking about getting fit, which is fear-free, intentional, and tenacious. How do we do that and really build on, again, that wealth building? And then we're having a rainforest excursion. So we're going to go out in the rainforest. That's going to kind of be our challenge this year. So last year we did the ice challenge. This year it's a hike in the rainforest. It's a hike, y'all. So don't wear your sandals and your cute dresses. It's a hike. Okay, you're going to wear hiking clothes and hiking shoes, and we're going to challenge ourselves, but we're going to have fun doing it. And then that evening, we're going to have dinner with Rich and Regular, and they're going to talk about what is your fire number. Financial independence, retire early. That's our fire. We're going to be talking about the math and the science behind early retirement. So we're super excited about that. Then Saturday, we're going to again wake up with Workout with Anaya. And then we're going to have breakfast with Larry Jones. Now, like Kim will tell you, Portia, I don't know if you got a chance to talk to Larry at all, but Larry, yeah, so Larry he is a stock expert and he will share everything that he knows about stocks, but he also is a branding expert, so he'll share everything he knows about that. I love Larry because he's so knowledgeable, he's been so successful, and he's so willing, like just like you guys, he's so willing to share the knowledge that he has because he wants to see other people get there. And not only will he share, but he'll take some minutes to actually show you how to do it. So he's going to be talking about stock investing, but this is a working breakfast. So he's going to show you how to do it. So if you've been curious about investing in stocks on your own, if you're employed and you have a 401k, you actually have the option to do some of your own investing. So you don't have to quit your job to become a stock investor. This is not something that you need to do to become a day trader, but you can actually take some of your own dollars and invest them in the way that you want to see them invested. So there's those options, and Larry will be talking to us about all of that. Then we're going to have our collaboration with Chrisette Michelle. Now, Chrisette Michelle is doing this, what's called a soft life tour. And she's really talking about transforming your money mindset. And we're going to do some sound healing. We're going to do some yoga. And then we're going to be talking about building your brand and building your wealth with those wealthy habits. And Shanta Hooks is partnering with her, and she's going to be talking about money mindfulness. But this isn't just talking. These are exercises we're going to be doing. And it's going to be acoustics. It's going to be music, yoga. It'll be an amazing experience. So you won't want to miss that on Saturday. And then Saturday evening, we're going to have some dinners. Those are going to be one-on-one dinners with our speakers. So Portia will have her dinner. I'll have mine about real estate investing. Like Kim will have his about building your brand. Larry's going to have one about stock investing. Rich and Regular will have one about retiring early, and Jeff Austin is having a plant-based challenge. So if you've ever wanted to go plant-based, he's going to teach you how to sit in a restaurant and figure out what you can eat. That'll be fun. So that's Saturday. And then Sunday, we have our keynote speaker, Portia Wood, who's going to talk to us about creating a generational wealth plan. But not just talk to us, but she's going to get us started along the way. Like, what do we need to prepare to get started? What conversations do we need to have? How do we have those tough conversations? Mm-hmm. And Portia is amazing at that. So that'll be Sunday morning, and then Sunday afternoon, we're going to have some breakout sessions. Those breakout sessions will be workshops with all of us where you can just, again, get that one-on-one attention to talk about, or a small group attention to talk about how do you actually create a plan? Because we don't want you to walk away feeling like, oh, I heard all this great information and now I have no idea what to do. We're going to be giving you the how-tos right there to get you started along your way. And then Monday is our last day. We'll start out with yoga and working out on the beach. We'll have a brunch just to connect with each other one more time, make sure we're getting each other's contact information, and then we'll say goodbye. So, or we'll say see you next year is what we'll say. So it's going to be an awesome, amazing experience in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I'm so excited that you guys are both joining us in this experience. And Lake Kim is helping us with our social media. He's been amazing on doing that this year. So you guys will get a lot more information, but I want to share something amazing with you. So today, this week, we are having, or this month, I should say, we're having a Juneteenth buy one, get one. So you buy a ticket, you can bring a friend. So it's only for this month. If you don't do it this month, don't ask us next month because we're not doing it next month. It's for this month only. Get your ticket to Puerto Rico. The flights are not that expensive right now. We have our ticket includes the hotel, so you don't even have to worry about booking your hotel. You're booked from the 5th through the 9th. It includes your hotel. And if you book this week, and this week only, you will get the upgraded VIP experience. Now, the upgraded VIP experience is going to include the brand photo shoot with the photographer. So you'll have your photo shoot there, your headshots if you need headshots, photos that you need, some lifestyle photos you need for social media, you'll have those.
Oh yeah.
It's going to
Oh.
include wealth and wellness swag. So you'll get a t-shirt and a couple other items. And then you will have a one-on-one branding session with Lakim. And we're just going to make sure that you have a priority selection for our dinners. So I mentioned those dinners, but those are small dinners, right? We don't want 50 people bombarding Larry, right? So the dinners are going to be limited to 10 people. You'll be able to select your dinner first. So you want to book this week because you're going to get that priority selection and you're going to get the VIP seating in the event for all of the seminars. So we hope that you'll join us in San Juan. We look forward to meeting you in San Juan. We want you to spend today, which is Juneteenth. It's June 19th. And let me tell y'all my favorite part about June 19th. The former slaves in Texas, this is how Juneteenth came about. They bought a park and they used that park to celebrate their freedom, which actually came 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, right? So we all know that slavery didn't end when slavery ended, right? So a couple of years later, they're still slaves. They get freedom. And the first thing they did when they got freedom was they went and bought some land. And you'll see on my post, I talk about possessing the land. It is so important that we own property, we own land. So this day, use it to understand our past, but also use it to build your future. Build your future, plant those seeds. Make sure that not only as you're building your future and you're planting those seeds and you're working really hard, that you're planning. And if you have questions, I'm sure you can reach out to Portia. She is wonderful and will speak with you. Portia, tell us your social media handles so they can connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So woodlegalgroup.com is our law firm. But for our educational platform, it's blacktrustfundkids.com. We've got a lot of great free information. We are normalizing intergenerational wealth transfer in the Black community. So join us over there on Black Trust Fund Kids. And if I can, Ebony, we for Juneteenth, for the last 4 years in our law firm, have done an estate plan giveaway because it is important that we understand intergenerational wealth and the preservation of it. So we do a free estate plan giveaway. Again, there are some limitations and you do got to do some work, right? But if you go to our website, woodlegalgroup.com, and you go down to Juneteenth estate plan giveaway, you can see if you qualify, see what it is. Its deadline is today at 2 p.m. So we're going to run a randomizer on the people who have done the applications, who have met all the criteria, and someone is going to get a free multi-generational estate plan, comprehensive. This runs about $11,000 in our firm. So yes, you have to do some work to get it, but we protect your assets for generations. What we want to do is make sure that people are actually taking the steps. And this is the 4th year that we've done it. So when we think about freedom, we want to talk about economic freedom. So if you're thinking about it, it's free. Go in there and submit your application.
Awesome. So can you send me something about that so I can make sure I post it in our Wealth and Wellness group and on our Wealth and Wellness page, on my personal page? I want to make sure we get that information out there. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I can send that over to you.
I have a question. Is it 2 p.m.? So I'm on Eastern time. So are you Eastern as well?
2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern.
That gives you some extra time.
Yep, perfect.
All right. And Lakim, so Lakim actually started this planner, which I thought was amazing. I met him at InvestFest, as he mentioned, and I bought the planner for my husband, who was recently becoming an entrepreneur, and that planner has been very helpful. We actually really like it. It's time for a new one, in fact. And Lakim joined us, and now he's sort of turned his business more into an online business, but then he's also teaching about online branding, because what a lot of people don't realize is that you are the brand. Whether you are employed, being a brand is not just for being an employee, right? Or being an entrepreneur or a business owner. If you work for a company, you are the brand. When you show up, you are the brand. And not only that, you have knowledge, you have information, you have experiences that other people don't have and may want to get. And those things can be monetized. And those things can be monetized online in a way that brings you some residual income so you don't have to work every day. So learning how to monetize yourself as a brand, LayKim is your guy. Reach out to him. And LayKim, can you share your social media handles?
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys can find me everywhere. Just my name, like what Ebony said, my name is my brand. So my company is called LayKim James Coaching, and you can find that on any platform. And I think the big thing that I really want to emphasize for everyone is, making understanding the importance of marketing yourself is so important. And as I made the transition, I ran my sales company for the last 7 years, and I just retired doing that. And what I realized was I wanted to expand my impact, right? And one of the best ways to expand your impact is being able to touch and give more people guidance and stuff. So with me creating the planner, the Entrepreneur Championship Planner, that was one of the first things that I realized for me to expand my impact and guide people along their journey in creating a successful business. And now I'm realizing that content is king and content is queen. So what I realized is I was like, I want to get really, really good at marketing myself through my content. When you speak through people through your content, then it builds a relationship. And that's what I wanted to do. So now that's what I do full time, I help people with marketing themselves, content related wise, and just really growing their business. So anyone that needs any type of guidance, accountability, or support with doing that on autopilot, yeah, you could definitely reach out, and we could, I'll see how I could serve you and help you scale your business.
Thank you so much. And I am Ebony Lucas. I'm a real estate attorney and also a real estate investor. My social media is at Lucas the Closer. It's Lucas the Closer. And I'm happy to talk to you about real estate investing and building wealth and moving towards that abundant mindset. That's what I do, is I help my clients just understand their entitlement to abundance. So thank you both so much for joining today. We look forward to seeing you all in San Juan, Puerto Rico, October 5th through 9th. Our website is www.wealthandwellnessexp.com. Join us in Puerto Rico. See you later.
See you guys in Puerto Rico.